Good to get out there. Good first day. It was exciting to be on the field. You know, I thought our players did a really good job in the off season, but it was great to get out there today and get going. So, good first day.
What could you tell from seeing you guys?
Well, I thought the guys had a really good attitude. What I could tell was that they had a clue on what to do offensively, a clue on what to do defensively, had a good idea of you know, the base offensive plays, base defensive plays, and you know, I felt like the coaches did a good job of preparing. Now the execution was very sloppy. You know, it was sloppy. You know, throwing and catching and stuff like that, which you understand. The guys were a little anxious and all that, but I felt good. I felt like again, I felt like the coaches did a good job of putting them in a position to understand some things. So, good idea.
Mark, in one of the winter conditioning videos, I think at the end you were addressing the team and you said, you know, we'll get it done, but your heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
How important is it just to have, you know, the guys that want to get better, as you said, that have obviously looked at the playbook? And
Very, very important. You know, one of the most important things outside of having some talent. You know, but I think, you know, again, I felt that today. Now it'll be, you know, that's day one. You know, let's see how we do all spring. And but I felt like day one that again their hearts were in the right place. I felt like they were locked in. They were you know, had a, you know, I say we had a good sense of urgency. Not what we needed to be, but I felt guys were trying to move around and be locked in and you know, on both sides of the ball.
Mark, in your spring guy, there's no depth chart. It's just alphabetical.
Yeah.
Was it intentional or just?
Yeah, it was. I just didn't feel that was right, you know, until we had a chance to work with these guys. I mean, obviously, you know, there was somebody that took reps at ones today and with the twos and the threes and so on. But I didn't feel like it was right to release it to anybody. Nobody's earned anything yet. So we're going to make them all earn their spots, and you know, we'll evaluate that as we go.
Looks like a couple of guys have some new positions on there. What are the motivations behind those? Just fitting in?
Oh, just, you know, just schematically, you know, you know, just what we felt they could fit in our scheme. So we'll keep on working through all that.
Mark, you talked about the quarterbacks. What you saw, who took the most snaps was the first?
We were equal with those guys. We're rotating them each drill, you know, to be just to be fair with those guys. But all of them had their ups and downs. You know, each of them looked really good at times, and then at times, you know, they struggled just putting it all together, which you can understand.
get any better sense for what maybe you have now that you've seen them on the field and running around?
Yeah, you know, after one day, one practice again, we'll go back and watch that film all day. But you know, I have a good idea. I mean, you know, we dropped some passes. You know, we were a little sloppy in that area. In the secondary, they got behind us at times. So I think we need to continue to you know, to build depth at the skill positions.
Does it hinder you at all having to go inside where he's outside?
A little bit. You know, the nice thing is it's a good indoor, really. Outside of some kicks, you can get a lot of work done. And, you know, the good thing about this time of year, as opposed to the fall, is there's no scout team work. So we could, you know, all get off to the side, and you got a lot of room to operate. Outside of the beginning with individual drills and things like that, it's okay. I'd rather be in there and be on a good surface.
Mark, obviously you're finding out about your kids and what you have. What do you want them to find out about? What do you want to get across to them for them to know about you and your staff during the spring? Yeah,
just how demanding we're going to be. You know, doing things right. You know, practicing with a great sense of urgency. You know, practicing with great detail, and you know, developing some leadership and you know, accountability to each other. So those are some things we're looking for right away.
Mark, you talk about the pace of practice. Is it faster than what these guys have been used to?
I'm not sure, you know, what they practiced at before, but it's pretty good. For the first day today, I thought our pace was very good. The transition in between periods will improve. We'll get faster and you know, more efficient in our practice, and we'll address that with the players and with the coaches. But I thought the pace was pretty good. You know, I like the staff's organization. You know, the offensive staff and the defensive staff. They were prepared for today's practice, and you could see that. Again, we were by no means anything close to a finished product or anything like that, but the operation was pretty good. for the first day.
Have you sensed that any natural leaders, maybe in the off-season workouts, even in day one of practice, kind of step up that guys respond to?
Not really. You know, I'll be honest with you. I just talked to the team about that. You know the leadership, but I'd rather have it that way. Honestly, I'd rather have it a little bit cautious than fake or phony. You know, I'd rather people, you know, earn their way to be leaders, and we'll see. You know, we'll develop some leadership, and the team will develop some leadership. But I'd rather have it. You know, everybody was out there holding on today. You know, they were holding on. So, you know, it was hard to get a sense of that leadership. But again, I'd rather have it that way than a bunch of raw, phony stuff and guys not locked in and you know, it not being real.
Was it better than you might have expected? I mean, compared to what you thought coming in for this first practice?
Yeah, you know what, I was encouraged. You know, I really feel like there's some things to work with there. You know, we got a long way to go, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're good guys. They have a good attitude, and you know, that's a good start. And I felt like, you know, through the off-season program, they were in pretty good condition. Coming back off of spring break, you know, Monday morning off of spring break, you know, that really, you know, they did a pretty good job. We got back yesterday and had a little stretch and a little run and got a little sweat going for those guys yesterday. So that was good, just to get them back moving a little bit and make sure they're all back out of Mexico or wherever they were. So,
Could you say it was your first time to actually be on the field with Neil Brown? Anything today surprise you, impress you?
Yeah, very impressed. He was very impressed. I think they're, you know, Neil had the whole offensive side of the ball very organized. I like the drills. I like the efficiency. You know, they're constantly working 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks. You know, a bunch of guys. They're very efficient in what he's teaching in the way, you know, we're managing the offense there. So, yeah, no, I thought it was very good for a first day. I really did.
As you construct the team, are there positions on either side of the ball where you say, this is critical to what we want to do defensively or offensively, where you would like to see somebody emerge in spring?
You know, it's difficult for me to talk about a position because, as we all know in here, we need to get better everywhere. There's not one position on our field that we don't need to improve. And so that's why it's hard for me to, you know, get specific on a person, you know, a certain group, because we need to improve in all areas. I mean, again, I feel like there was a few guys offensively that stood out that did a good job, but I feel like there was too many balls on the ground, very sloppy. And I know it's day one, and, you know, we're going to improve the execution, but I think just, you know, wide receivers in this offense is very important.
Mark, did you sense any nervousness among the guys trying to make a good first
Yeah,
impression?
yeah, definitely. I hope some of that was a little bit nervousness, a little bit anxious. So some of that, maybe they were pressing a little bit hard, but, you know, so we'll improve.
Mark, this was your first practice as a head coach. What was it like out there knowing that from here on it's on you?
Yeah, it was definitely, you know, a little bit different. You know, I found myself, you know, staying on the schedule and making sure practice was running efficiently, making sure our coaches that haven't been with me before and our players understand the transitions and how fast we want to move in between drills and where we want to be. And so I was, you know, making sure people were in the right place and, you know, GAs and warning them about the transitions, things like that. Just managing the practices, you know, just jotting down notes, things that we need to get better. Once we got into certain drills, it was fun to get back in coaching. You know, obviously, I can't stick my nose in there offensively yet, except to say, hey, catch the ball or block that guy or something like that. But defensively, getting involved with the X's and O's and getting out there with the players, that was fun for me because there's been, you know, so much management, you know, as the head coach and putting it all together. You know, obviously, that's where I'm focusing the majority of my time. So, anyway, yeah, it was a little bit different.
When do you go in full pads?
We'll go in full pads on Friday. So we'll go short skin Wednesday, full pads on Friday.
Mark, I know it's
Saturday?
No, we're only going to go 3 days this week just to work them back in. You know, with only the 15 practices, we're going to go 3 this week, and that gives us plenty of time to review the installation. You know, so after the first 3 days, you know, much of our installation will be in. Gives us time to watch film in between each practice before we go back out. So, yeah, give it to them nice and slow this week.
Mark,
get them back in shape and tempo and all that.
With only 15 practices, what do you, at the end of spring ball, what do you hope that you get out of this time frame?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think, the demands, that we're going to expect of them from a coaching staff, I think it's very important that they learn the tempo, and how efficient we need to be. And, offensively and defensively, at the end of these 15 practices, our players should know this is who we are offensively and this is who we are defensively. There'll be much more, but the basics, is a big part of who we are. They need to know that.
You touched on this being your first practice as a head coach. Did you model your first practice after anybody after all your many stops?
Yeah, I kind of just put it together from, things I've learned through the years. It's very similar to some things we were doing in Florida State as far as the structure of practice.
Was it nice to be back on the field after spending all summer doing media and things?
Yeah, definitely. It really was. It was good. It felt good. You get out there and chew some guys out a little bit. No, it felt good just to coach them and get pushing them and just get the blood flowing from the coaching point of view. Yeah, definitely. Felt much more comfortable.
What did you think of the facility?
I like the facility. I like the indoor. I really do. I feel like we can get good work in there. Gets a little tight in the end zones, but again, right now in the spring it works well because we go against each other, so we have plenty of room to operate. If we get if we're doing scout teams with the offense on one side and defense on the other side, it'll start. It could get a little bit tight, but for right now, I thought it was pretty good. Much better than being outside today.
Is everybody healthy for full contact?
For the most part, yeah.
Do you have Clemens? Is he available?
We'll see. We'll see.
How was that west,
A little bit. Clemens is going to be very smart with him.
Anything else, guys?
Mark, can a player win a job in spring, or what's the best they can do?
Oh yeah, definitely. He can win it until camp starts. And then he's going to have to keep it. With our first year here, it's going to be very fluid that way because we want the competition. We need more position battles. That's going to make your team better. So, we won't let anybody feel real good about themselves. So we're going to push them very hard and be very demanding. So, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not real interested in putting a depth chart together right now. I'm interested in developing it too deep. But as far as who the starters are and all that, we got plenty of practices. We got 14 more this spring and close to 30 before our first game.
Got time for one more. Anybody? All right. Thanks, Coach Stoops.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
We'll have